Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Phenomenon, a paranormal podcast. And I am Christina.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Anthony.
And we're here today with something that we've been wanting to do live on video for a while. And it's another fun experiment in the paranormal field and parapsychology, actually.
Yeah.
It's called the Ganzfeld Experiment. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what it is, in a minute I'm going to have Anthony explain that to us.
Yeah.
We're going to spend some time on this because, it can take us to interesting places. And there's a little backstory to it.
Yeah.
But before I give it over to Anthony, I want to just remind everybody, thank everyone, first of all, for really digging in and watching our premiere podcast, which was so much fun with our urban legends, and continuing to follow us and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You're not going to want to miss our upcoming episodes because with each one we're going to try and make it more intriguing than the last.
Yeah.
And from the reaction we're getting, I think you guys are really digging what we're doing. So please share to your friends, to your colleagues. Also, there's going to be opportunity for you to jump into our Patreon, which is going to include a lot of maybe outside experiments that we do. Exclusive content. We're going to have some behind the scenes stuff. It's going to be things that, not everyone's going to have access to. So you don't want to miss that, including past investigations. So look out for that. And the link to our merch store is also going to be in the description as well. And we have some pretty cool merch already up there for you related to some episodes that you may have already seen. So
If you go join our Patreon, you're actually going to see some exclusive discounts there for our store as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
So if you want a discount on some really awesome merch, please go join our Patreon and you get a really good one.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
all right. Well, Anthony's going to explain what this Ganzfeld experiment is and kind of where it's originated from. So Anthony.
yeah, Ganzfeld Experiment, kind of related to ESP, also remote viewing. Our approach is kind of a mixture of it all, but the original origins of this was from psychologist Wolfgang Metzger. He introduced this concept in the 1930s, the Ganzfeld. Ganzfeld is actually German for whole field. And he related this term because he was talking about the whole field in the visual spectrum, kind of where our eyesight goes.
Right.
The interesting thing that a lot of people don't always kind of think about is the world around us, the way we perceive things, the way we look at things. We look at a light and we see a white light. That is our brain trying to come up with a visual representation of what's around us.
Yeah.
That is not exactly what it looks like in reality. That is how our brains are perceiving it to look, because our brains need something to hold on to latch onto, to make sense of the world around us.
Something logical.
Yes, it's kind of like a processing filter in a way. So the interesting thing about the Ganzfeld, it is often used for parapsychology and hallucinatory investigations and looking into what happens when you remove visual stimuli from the brain.
Right.
If you're immersed in darkness or you'll see a red light, and you have no audio or visual input whatsoever, your brain is searching for something to latch onto to process.
Right.
Because it has none. And so when that happens, the theory is that you can connect to the other energies that exist around you that you don't always see because you have all this other stimuli coming in that blinds you to it. Obviously, things like gamma rays, X-rays, that kind of stuff we don't see, obviously. Even wind, we don't see it, but we know it's there. But our brains can't process visually seeing that stuff because we're seeing all this other stuff all the time.
Well, we can't see in the full spectrum either.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Birds can see things that we can't.
Yeah.
They actually have like a built-in radar when they're flying.
Yeah.
And what they're seeing when they're looking down is almost like a grid.
Yeah.
Oh, hit my mic. But anyway, they're seeing this grid that we can't see.
Yeah.
That's why they're in paranormal investigation. They will use a full spectrum camera, so they can see things we can't see with the naked eye.
Yeah.
I mean, and the interesting thing is a lot of times, you see what we're going to do today, and a lot of people will think, that this is just fringe stuff, that this is not something to really put a lot of stock into, because this is all part of the mind. But the mind is a very powerful computer. We even talked about it in one of our last episodes, the quantum consciousness.
Right.
Our minds are supercomputers, and we're processing all this information all the time.
Yeah.
It got to the point where our own government, the American government, developed really powerful programs to try and utilize these kind of techniques in military warfare,
Right.
Especially during the Cold War. You guys probably seen this very popular show, Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Alyssa's going to be our own personal L
Yeah.
here.
Exactly.
But this is kind of like during the era of MK Ultra and stuff. This project for ESP was actually called Project Stargate. And it was used to try and train people to remote view their enemies behind enemy lines to see where they should send their soldiers, what they were planning,
Right.
even to get intel on what their enemies were doing beforehand, before it was even happening.
Well, remote viewers are still used to this day.
I mean,
Yeah.
people practice it all the time. Remote viewing is a little different than Ganzfeld because they don't use any like sort of blindfold or anything. It's more of a meditative technique where they calm themselves and they go where their mind takes them.
Right.
And then wherever their mind takes them, they start drawing or writing down what they're seeing. And that's a cool technique too. We might do that on our Patreon one day, so subscribe. But the Ganzfeld is a little different because we are personally removing any stimuli to affect our receiver, Alyssa here.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting, it sounds a little funny, but ping pong balls on her face.
Cut in half.
Cut in half. And
Cover her eyes.
Yeah.
covering her eyes so that she's removing most stimuli, but she's going to get one little thing, and that's red light. Red light kind of eliminates any of the other spectrum that she could possibly filter in and see. And then she's going to put headphones in and get some white noise going.
Yeah.
We don't want the spirit box because that could draw in other, energy that we're not trying to do. We're trying to connect purely with the mind here.
Right.
So we're going to be doing that. We're going to set that up. And what it's going to do is allow Allie, we use a paranormal because we want to see what she can connect with out there. We always talk about how quantum consciousness brings spirits and energies, even human or non-human, to the surrounding area. And she's like a beacon. We've talked about that before.
Right.
And you had a really interesting experience last time.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was things that I had never seen, heard of before. So I can't even say like, oh, that's why my mind went there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it started out where all of a sudden I'm in like a convenience store. And I'm walking through and it's like you're going to the back and you go out the back entrance and all of a sudden I'm like in the woods. And it looks like the woods if you were at the beginning of time, if you'll recall.
Right.
It was as if like there was nothing,
Right.
And I was trying to almost like explore where I was at. And then all of a sudden I went to a different, I guess, area where I saw a woman who I've seen both times I've done it, who I don't know if she's like a guide for me or something, but she's, just this petite woman with shoulder length hair, olive skin. I've never seen her before. And she's always just there, kind of like, almost like she's trying to show me something,
Right.
And then I saw a man atop a hill who was in a robe and he almost like had a bonfire going with sticks sticking straight up that were not burning. So it didn't make any sense rationally.
Right.
And there were 8 points in this circle. And I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was almost as if this is like the meaning of life type thing.
Right. I think it was something to the effect that at one point it was like life.
Yeah.
And the next point was death. And then the next point you saw was like rebirth.
Yeah.
So in essence, the way you took it at the time was like, yeah, we live and our bodies might die, but we're not really dead because we are reborn.
Right.
And this is just kind of the circle
It's
of
like
life.
it's a
But
circle.
there were 5 other points that
I
revealed to
didn't
you.
know. Yeah.
Right.
And it almost seemed like they were showing me something for right now, and maybe they'll show me more in the future.
Right.
That's how it came across, at least. It was really weird.
Yeah.
We have the audio recording, and that's one of the things we're going to be putting up on our Patreon.
Right.
Yeah.
For you guys to be able to listen to kind of get a sense of what that experience was like.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that happened to you that was interesting too was at the end. You kind of remember, didn't you describe it as you were kind of being pulled back and almost you were going through the same
Yeah, it
path?
was as if I was going in reverse and going through all the same way I went,
Right.
but backwards until I went back out of the convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to mention too that the reason why we think Allie in particular is so good to do these kinds of experiments, especially the Ganzfeld,
Yeah.
she seems to travel when she sleeps.
Yeah.
So, whether it's astral projection exactly,
Right.
we're not sure. It sounds a lot like it.
Yeah.
But almost instantly when she goes to sleep, and when I say instantly, I mean within seconds,
Yeah.
she's talking to people.
Yeah. I'm having like conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
And the weirdest one was when you said it sounded as if I was like talking in a man's voice.
Yeah, that one kind of creeped me out a little bit. I'm not
I
gonna
was,
lie.
and then she told me, and I'm like, what?
This was like Insidious waiting to happen.
What did you say
Yeah.
to me as a man? I wish I could remember now.
I don't know. That's the
But
thing.
It was definitely in a man's voice.
Yeah.
And it really took me by surprise because just less than a minute before that, I had been talking to her in a
Yeah.
waking state.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she fell out, she spoke to me in a man's voice, and it was like not her at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
So that's
Everything-
why, yeah.
I personally think everyone has the potential for this kind
Right.
of stuff. Even when we dream, I think is a potential. That's what those are.
Right.
But I think there are certain people like Allie who are just stronger, who have a more of a connection
Yeah.
to wherever those places are. To me, we always talk about when we're doing our Estes method sessions that they ask if the door's open.
Yeah. Right.
And we always talk about the concept of doors, doorways, and doorways to other worlds, other places,
Yeah.
dimensions, however you want to.
Some might call them portals.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
you want to think of it, perceive it as. I think Allie is a natural traveler of those pathways. And I think the woman she's describing, to my theory, is that it's her guide. A lot of people will talk about these astral guides who
Yeah.
are supposed to show them the path. And I think that these experiments are kind of opening her up to this guide.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this experiment is so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done this experiment on myself before, just like I've done the SDs method before. I can hear things on the SDs, not to the level that she does.
Right.
She also can go at a different frequency on the SDs, and I can't hear anything on that frequency. I also don't get as in-depth visuals when I do the Ganzfeld.
Right.
I've only heard one other person as in-depth as Allie doing a Ganzfeld, and that's Dana Newkirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and before I saw Allie do this, I would watch her and think to myself, how on earth can she get this much detail, just like constant fluid detail
Right.
of visuals that she's seen? And then I watched Allie do it, and I was like, okay, I understand this now
Yeah.
a lot better.
That's why we're doing this today, because until you witness it yourself, when you just talk about it, it's hard to kind of picture. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to wrap your mind around it. But we're hoping when we show this today, you'll understand.
Yeah.
The concept is we're only going to give Allie 4 keywords. We're not going to explain what the keywords are about, what they're related to. We want her to go where it naturally goes.
Yeah.
What the concept of the Ganzfeld is when she's under, she's the receiver, and the rest of us are senders. We're sending our thoughts, our projections of what these keywords are related to Allie, almost telepathically.
Right.
Right.
She energetically, with her mind, is going to try and pick up on what we're sending out and see if she can be taken to those places.
Yeah.
Or at least get a representation of what those places are supposed to be related to.
And I've had it where that does happen, you know, where I pick up on it either quickly or at some point during the
The
experiment.
last one was pretty intricate with the family aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
So, but other times, you know, I may go somewhere that's like
Right.
way different than we expected, and it's just where it leads me to,
Right.
you know?
And we're going to ask Ray to give us one of those words. Our producer, Ray. Everybody, not forget Ray in the corner.
Yeah.
He's a great
Ray's officially on camera. too.
Exactly, and he's an important part of this wheel that we're turning here. So, so we're going to get started. We're going to do a little
Yeah.
setup first, and then we'll get rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to see some behind the scenes of us setting this up? Join our Patreon.
Yeah,
So
there you
yeah.
go.
Yep.
All right.
Let's do this.
All right.
It's okay if you mess up my makeup a little bit. It's worth it.
Just trying to find the end of the tape at this point.
Yeah, we learned this technique actually from the Newkirks during their own experiments, and we used the ping pong balls, and we were like, really?
How's that?
But it
All
works.
right, Allie, so we're going to give you 4 words
Okay.
before I press the white noise, and just try and focus on those.
Okay.
Anthony, you want to give?
Yes. All right. So I want you to think of tunnel, bridge,
Okay.
cemetery, and
Okay.
then Ray. You have a 4th word for us?
All 4.
No, just one word.
Rock.
Rock.
Okay.
Think of rock. Okay.
Okay. Tunnel, bridge, cemetery, rock.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Turn
Now,
your white
we're
noise.
gonna be turning the white noise on.
Okay, good. And it might take her a minute.
Yeah, to kind of get settled and into that place. Once she starts talking, we'll check to make sure she can't hear us and start sending.
You might hear her breathing start to sound a little bit louder. She's getting sort of in a meditative place.
Almost
then
describes it as kind of in that, like in Get Out, when you feel that sinking feeling.
Right.
That's kind of how she describes it, is kind of like you're sinking into this place wherever she goes.
She's just going to start telling us what she sees. Much like when we did the Estes method, and she just tells us what she hears.
It looks like I'm walking down like a road, like a dark street maybe at night. I'm the only one there, but there's cars parked on either side of the street, all up and down. But it's as if I can't like hear or see anyone else. It looks like it rained earlier because the asphalt is wet.
I know it's odd on a podcast to have dead air, but just waiting to see what she sees. A lot of this is it's like you're in your dreams.
Yeah. We're trying to send our thoughts out to her right now.
Yeah, think about those
There's
words.
like a big curve in the road that I'm walking around trying to find where everyone went.
And Ray, we should tell you, keep thinking about whatever situation it is.
There's a big house, like it's weird because it's like I'm in a city, but all of a sudden there's a big like farmhouse. It's red. Or I should say the barn with the farmhouse is red.
Okay.
The barn is empty too. Like there's no animals or anything in it.
Where'd all the people go?
Yeah.
It looks like I'm gonna go inside the house.
Okay. That's interesting. All of my nightmares involve strange houses.
Yeah.
It's got like steps to go up and like a wraparound porch. It's very, like southern.
Okay.
It's a white house, by the way, and it has like dark green shutters and a door. And I'm walking inside. There's a like grandfather clock chiming.
Okay. Vecna's coming.
I was about to say the same thing.
We did tell her to be L.
Yeah.
to others. This is a good example of sensory
I'm
deprivation.
gonna walk upstairs, even though it's really dark in here.
This is a totally different path than the last one she
So
did.
I'm at the top of the stairs, and I heard like a creak behind me.
It's definitely horror movie vibes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm envisioning the house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. Oh, that sliding door.
I'm walking down the hallway to like a bedroom. I feel like someone's in there, but I don't know who.
Do we want to find out? I say no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust it.
It's like there's like a dark figure, but I can't fully see them. But they're telling me to go back.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Feels like I am going back out of the house now. And it happened like really fast.
just like last time.
Yeah.
So far, this isn't hitting on the things that are the keywords.
Yeah, someone else kind of seems to have stepped in.
I do see like now that I'm back on the street as I walk further down. It's still night out, but there's a very old bridge there.
Mm-hmm.
And this bridge kind of has like an interesting design, I guess. It looks very old. And it kind of like comes upward to connect. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it looks like.
I'm thinking of a very particular bridge.
Oh, are you?
Yes. Let's see.
It almost sounds like she's just.
I'm walking through it, and it's getting darker.
Like one of those bridges that is like a drawbridge
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like someone's trying to say something, but I can't fully hear them. I don't know who it is. So I'm going to keep walking. It's weird. It was like nighttime as I went through the bridge. And then when I came out of it, it looks like it's like the morning.
Okay.
And I'm in like a wooded area now.
Seems to be prevalent when
Yeah.
she travels.
Every time she does one of these experiments, it's what?
There's a lot of greenery. But I feel like in the distance on a hill maybe, like there's like a headstone.
Oh, well, we did say cemetery.
It looks like it says Vance on it.
Vans.
I'll tell you why that's interesting when we're done.
Yeah.
There's other ones near it, but I can't see what they say yet.
You see what we mean about the amount of detail that she gets? I mean,
That's kind of crazy.
yeah.
I really think
It's interesting because even though I'm seeing these like headstones in the middle of nowhere, I also am seeing like standing stones, kind of like if you've seen the show Outlander, like those types of standing stones.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
She might be telling us, but we need to do a graveyard session next.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for our Patreon, doing some graveyard investigations. So
It's like the standing stones are really tall and are standing straight up. And then there's like a couple that have like a flat stone on top of it. But just like 2 of them have that. And they don't connect. So it doesn't make sense how it's even, I guess, possible.
We'll have to-
As I'm walking around, I notice there's a lot of leaves on the ground, so it's kind of like fall, and it seems like it's cold out. There's more inscriptions on headstones, but I'm trying to make them out.
If she says the second name I'm thinking about,
It's
I'll be tripping.
yeah.
one looks more modern, and it's one of those like headstones where you could put a picture on it. And it looks like a child, like a little boy with blonde hair,
Okay.
but I don't see a name yet.
Wonder what her guide is.
Yeah, I know.
I see Billy, but I don't see a last name. I felt like I saw someone run by as I was in this area. But they were really fast, so I don't know who it was. I didn't get a good enough look.
She's really deep under.
Yeah, she is. I can
I
tell.
feel like for some reason, like I'm confused where I am. Like I'm trying to figure it out.
Almost feels like someone led her off the path that she's used to.
Right. But we did say cemetery. It's just I don't think the cemetery we were thinking.
No, sounds like a different.
It's weird. I feel like I do see that lady from last time.
No, there she is.
So
She's always, aside from her, like, being petite and having shoulder length hair, she's always wearing, like, just a simple black top and jeans. Like, it's very plain and modern day, but she never says anything. She's always just looking at me and almost like she's always standing in the next zone I'm supposed to go. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to her, Allie. Go talk to her.
I feel like I'm supposed to follow her.
Yeah.
She's deeper in the woods, like away from the headstones and all that. And I see like little bursts of light in the area she's in.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm following her now.
Ray, has she touched on anything of what you were thinking?
Maybe a few things, kind of vaguely, but
Okay.
also
Yeah, we're still trying to see where she's gonna end up. Cemetery thing's interesting
Yeah.
because there's a cemetery that we want to do a investigation type thing at that we've been to before. It's like in the middle of a neighborhood real close to here.
Can't tell where we're going yet.
But the thing is there's like an incline to
climbing through a lot of like rough terrain in the woods.
Huh.
But again, it's like there's nothing around, like no animals or any other sign of life. Just the two of us for some reason.
Okay. But I'll have to tell you after. She's going places now.
It looks like I'm in a clearing with her now. Almost meadow-like.
Before she got to the man last time.
That happened, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like I see a group of people, and they're all in white, and then there's someone at the front standing who's also in white, and it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like cult-like.
I was gonna say, it sounds like
I don't know.
Midsummer
Right.
movie.
Doesn't it? Yikes. Go the other way, Allie. I mean,
It's like all the people are seated except for that one person, and that one person who I can't fully make out is like doing some sort of like dance, almost like ritual dance.
that's what I was going to say. It sounds like a ritual, for lack of a better explanation. Which doesn't have to be all
There's
bad.
like a round altar thing.
Okay.
The people who are like kneeling or seated are like just not moving, but that one person is doing some sort of dance.
Last time we thought the same thing, that it seemed like a ritual circle
Yeah.
with the sticks in the middle and the 8 points.
I wonder how many people are there.
I can't tell what they're doing now. I mean, the other people are still where they're at, but the main person is now, like, they're holding their hands together and looking up. Like, they're almost like they're expecting something to happen.
Okay.
What's the ritual? Trying to conjure.
Yeah. It sounds like a summoning of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking up to the sky like that, you know?
All right.
I have no idea what they're waiting for. It definitely feels like a ceremony of some sort.
Seems like a continuation from the last one.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. The beginning sounded like something else was trying to lead her to somewhere else.
Right, and they told her to go back.
Told her to go back.
Someone asked, "Is this okay?" I don't know who said that.
Guess it depends on what this is.
Yeah. Someone is trying to show this to Allie. Please just show her what the ritual is about.
The woman I'm with who's showing me all this is like kind of asking, like, do you understand?
We'd like to.
I understand the basics, I think, of what she's saying, but like I don't know the specifics of anything.
We're walking back through the woods. It's like we're going on a slow pace and not talking though. I heard her say, "I'm trying to make you see."
Okay.
I'd really love to know what it is that they
This is the
want her to
hardest part
see.
about being the receiver or the sender.
Yeah.
Is the waiting and you're like wanting to make sense of it.
Funny thing is, the whole scene reminds
She
me of
stopped and kissed me on the cheek,
Hmm.
and then just started walking away.
Okay. Very friendly guide.
Yeah, a little bit friendly.
Yeah.
That's reminded me of a missing persons case that I covered
Oh, really?
with Christy Stewart.
That's right. Yeah.
'Cause there was some strange cult-like church that she had joined
I remember.
before she went missing.
Yeah.
And they used to do rituals like that in the woods.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go now. It's like I'm just standing in the woods.
Let's see. We're about 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. We can do 5 more minutes.
I heard keys and like a door creaking open.
Doorways.
They talk about
And then I heard it shut.
when someone's traveling like this, it's like a liminal space.
Yeah.
There's always movement. So with her, she's walking through all these spaces, now in a car. Where's the car going to take her?
A lot of paranormal, high strangeness cases involve that liminality. There's just a lot of energy moving through these places.
A lot of people who do this will imagine themselves.
It's really dark now where I'm at, wherever that is.
I want to know who that figure was that told her to go back.
Yeah.
Like,
I think so many people pull her in different directions.
yeah.
Maybe that they just knew she wasn't supposed to
It's
be
like
there.
I'm just in a void for some reason.
She may be done in a minute if she's not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Came out of somewhere underneath, and it was dark in there, and then I came out and it's sunny, and it's like I am in a new day again. It's like every time I go back and forth, it's a new day. Feels like I'm just walking and enjoying like a nice day now.
Well, maybe it's time to.
Very relaxed and pretty where I'm at.
Maybe that's a good place to leave it then.
Yeah.
So, again, join us on Patreon. We'll be doing a lot of these. Might be doing an exclusive live stream version of this involving Bunny Man in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you join. But we're going to pull her out now, kind of do a last minute discussion of what she saw. And
Right.
I'm still walking like down a road that's by a wooded area, but I'm not in the woods anymore.
Okay.
all right, you want to hit our music?
Yeah, I knocked it down. So
Oh,
give me
okay.
1 second.
No problem.
Okay, we're gonna stop it there.
was weird.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Can you take those off yourself?
Oh, shoot. My bad.
You got it okay?
Let's see.
Figured you'd be able to fill your. Yeah, here you go.
Is
Thank
it all
you.
off?
Yeah, it's all off.
Okay.
You're good. So I can finish explaining this. So obviously, we had given you the word cemetery. You know, we were thinking more along the lines of Hollywood Cemetery, since we talked about the Richmond Vampire.
Right.
And obviously, we gave you bridge, tunnel. You did touch on a bridge.
Yeah.
It sounded like you walked through a tunnel
Yeah, it seemed
at one
like
point.
it.
The cemetery thing was really interesting to me because you talked about it being sort of up on a hill
Yeah.
and, you know, seeing the headstones. And then you mentioned the name Vance.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the one small little cemetery that we've been to where we had some interesting activity
Oh,
go
yeah.
on,
Right.
we were wanting to go back there maybe at some point to do like an investigation or an SC session.
Right.
But it looks like you have to walk up this incline
Right. Right.
to get to it, and we're trying to figure out if there's another side that we're not aware of, so that we can get to this.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny little in the middle of a neighborhood,
Right. Right.
old cemetery. And where we live, there was a big mine explosion, as we've mentioned, I think, on one of our other shows, that killed a lot of people. Some of
Yeah.
those miners are buried in this small cemetery, and this happened in
Right.
the late 1800s.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's two small family plots that were moved
Right.
Okay.
to this location.
Yeah.
And one of the family's names is Vance.
Is it really?
Yeah, and I
Okay,
knew that
I
she
didn't know that.
this.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So it was interesting to me when she said
Yeah.
that, because I was just looking up this cemetery again
Yeah.
to see if I could see any other way that we can like get up there
Right.
to do a session. Now I think we kind of have to.
That's what I love about this because, you know, we were thinking Hollywood Cemetery.
Right.
We were to see if we can touch on the Richmond Vampire. You went in a completely different
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
And that's what's so interesting about this.
Yeah.
Is she was connecting to something
Right,
because she had no clue that was going to come up.
right,
Honestly, when I heard, or I should say, saw Vance,
right.
of course, I'm thinking Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. You know,
Of course, right?
I'm like not
Hashtag
thinking
office,
about.
right?
Yeah, I was not thinking
Shout
that
out
was
Bob
the real
Vance,
thing,
Vance Refrigeration.
You know, so
No, but as soon as you did, I literally just yesterday saw a picture
Yeah.
of a big headstone that said Vance
really, that
from
is
the
so
cemetery.
weird.
The other one is Hancock. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, if she says Hancock, I'm just out. I'm
I know,
done.
right?
See if we see a picture of a child on one of those graves.
Yeah, named Billy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
That was interesting.
that was weird. Too.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and Ray, I had asked Ray when you were under
yeah.
if you touched on anything that he was thinking, and he said kind of, sort of. So I was
Okay.
going to ask you, Ray.
It's gonna be silly, but I was trying to channel the Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
Oh my
Oh,
God. Yes.
I
okay.
forget what you kind of said to indicate that, but
Yeah.
something about it. I was like, is she
Yeah.
getting there?
No, that's
That's
kinda cool,
actually
though.
funny, though.
That's very funny. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm curious what she said that triggered that you.
We got to go back.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go back.
Yeah.
Roll
wow.
back that tape, right?
Yeah, exactly. Roll back the tape. So, yeah, I hope you guys found that somewhat interesting.
Yes.
What did you think about it, Ray, having seen it for the first time?
That was really interesting. I love all the things you bring in here, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see more of that. I've seen the ping pong balls on the eyes before.
Yeah.
And the sensory deprivation thing. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd love to try that myself.
Yeah.
We
that
thought
would
about
be
asking
cool.
you to do it today.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how much time we'd have. But there's a thought for the Patreon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a session just with Ray. and
Yeah.
see where
I'd
it
love
takes
to.
him.
I like that.
That would be fun.
I'm a very vivid dreamer as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's why I think it would be really good to
Yeah.
have him do that.
I think
see.
he'd have his own like interesting visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See where it leads.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if you've never seen that done before, it's kind of interesting to just see how much detail
Yeah.
that she gets.
Seems like you got a continuation of your first one
Right.
with that ceremony that you're witnessing, and
Yeah.
we were mentioning, we forgot to mention earlier, but the meadow that you were led to,
Yeah.
you were led to a meadow before you were led to that cliff with that guy before.
That's true.
Remember?
Yeah, that's true.
And
It's almost like you go through the woods, you get to the meadow, and it's like a stopping point before you get to where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
almost like a way station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way. Get it? Get it?
I get it.
No, but the other thing that it reminded me of, and no one knows this, but I also have a missing persons podcast that I've done on audio for many years, and from the area that we used to live in California
Right.
desert. And one of the biggest cases on there was about a girl named Christy Stewart that still just like cuts me to my core emotionally.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happened to her right before she went missing is had gotten involved in this kind of creepy, culty like church.
Yeah.
That they did rituals, almost exactly like what you're describing in
Really?
the woods.
Really?
There used to be, they had a Facebook page before she went missing, and I had pictures of these rituals. They're all dressed in long white.
See,
flowing
I didn't know that
clothing.
part of it. I knew
Yeah.
she was involved in something
Right.
like that.
And they
but
would dance around this sticks in the middle and the whole 9 yards.
And
I
at the
hadn't
same-
thought about that with your last
Yeah.
session.
The woman was just really seeming like she wanted you to understand what was happening.
Yeah.
And the fact that she talked to you this time, that was interesting.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
weird.
So, I mean,
Kissed you on the cheek and then walked
And then
away.
just walked away. Yeah.
she wants you to understand
weird.
something about this ritual thing that you're
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
This case was never solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unsolved
So,
case. So,
Yeah, it was a really, really heartbreaking one. So we've done SD sessions before where it sounded like Christy was trying to come through.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see next time you do one of these
Yeah.
where it takes you.
That was honestly a trip for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what's happening here?
That
And,
and
and
the-
they were just like I think it was a lady who was the main one.
Oh, really?
I couldn't tell because she was far away, but she was just like
Looking up for
after the
something.
end of the dance, it was just like,
Okay.
and I'm like, what is
We
happening?
want to know what she's
Yeah,
waiting
like,
for.
what is
Do we
happening
not
here?
wanna know?
we thought the interesting thing was how it started. It seemed like something was trying to lead you in a different direction than your
Right.
guide intended.
Yeah.
Almost like they led you away from your guide at first.
Yeah.
And then that thing you saw in that room, the dark shadow thing.
Yeah.
That it said, go back. or
Yeah,
whatever,
and
get
then it was
out.
just like I went like again
Yeah.
in like reverse or something.
Yeah, and the fact that you had to take that bridge
Yeah.
to get to where you needed to be with the guide,
Yeah.
which was interesting. And then it went from night to day.
Yeah.
So it was almost like you were somewhere you weren't supposed to be
Right.
because something led you there, and then something else told you to go back,
Yeah.
and you found your way to your guide.
Yeah, it was so weird.
And it does seem like time is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you do this, like you go day to night, day to night, day to night,
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's like an accelerated version of a day or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you always start out on a street that looks totally inhabited with cars and different things.
Yeah.
Because you did the last time you went in the convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
You started out on a street and you went into the store and it had one of those old bells that rings when
Yeah.
you open the door.
Right.
Yet there's no one there.
And once you get out
Yeah.
that back door, you're in a different space.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
it is like literally like it's no one.
Yeah.
No one's there.
It's like
So-
Cillian Murphy in 28 Days
yeah,
Later, right?
exactly.
Walking
exactly.
through the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. Anyway, well, that's our session for today. So, like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell.
Let us know in the comments what you thought of the experiment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And would you try it?
yeah.
Yeah. What would you do? Would you try one of these, or would you be a little nervous to see where it leads you?
Yeah.
If you join our Patreon, you can always give us a word to use in the experiment, and we can see if maybe she can connect to whatever you're saying
Yeah.
or the scenario you're thinking of. So,
Yeah, and look out for Ray to do his own experiment on Patreon.
Yes, so soon.
See where we can let Ray travel to.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the love and you guys watching. And Anthony's going to take us out.
Yeah, thanks again. We'll see you next time for a really awesome episode. And remember, don't fear the unknown.